The sun rises over the Carpathian Mountains, casting long shadows across the NATO military installation nestled in the valleys below. Commander James Mitchell stands in the Tactical Operations Center, staring at the massive displays that stretch across the entire wall. His weathered face, marked by years of service and countless nights without sleep, reflects the blue glow of the screens. He's been tracking something all night, something that shouldn't exist, something that changes everything about modern warfare. His coffee sits untouched on the desk beside him, steam no longer rising from the cup. Around him, the hum of computer equipment and the muted voices of analysts create a symphony of tension that hangs in the air like fog before a storm. "Sir, we're getting new telemetry from the forward radar stations," calls out Lieutenant Sarah Chen, her fingers dancing across the keyboard with practiced precision. She's only 28 years old, but her mind is sharp enough to cut through confusion like a blade through silk. Mitchell moves toward her station, his echoing on the metal floor of the operations center. "The signature we've been tracking for the last just accelerated. It's moving at Mach 4.2, and it's heading directly toward the testing range at Malinov. 8 to 12 minutes. Mitchell's jaw tightens. Mach 4.2. It's faster than anything in the current arsenal alliance. Faster than their best estimates. Faster than anyone thought possible. The weapon they've been hearing whispers about for months. The ghost story that weapons analysts have debated in hushed tones over secure video conferences. The Vortex-IX appears to be real, and it's coming. Get me Admiral Richardson," Mitchell says, his voice cutting through the noise like thunder. "Tell him the bear is awake and it's hungry. Then I want every Patriot battery activated, every air defense system online, and I want to know the exact composition of that missile within the next 60 seconds. Full analysis, full power, no half measures." The urgency in his voice electrifies the room. Within moments, screens flicker and change. Data streams begin flowing from satellites, ground stations, and reconnaissance aircraft positioned strategically across the region. The collective computing power of three nations focuses on a single point in space, a missile that shouldn't exist, carrying a payload that could reshape the balance of power in the world. "Sir, Admiral Richardson is coming through," Ken says, and Mitchell sees the face of an older man appear on the main display. Admiral Marcus Richardson, the Supreme Commander of the Western Alliance's air defense operations. Richardson's face is like granite, but his eyes betray the weight of the moment. Behind him, Mitchell can see the Tactical Operations Center at the main command headquarters, equally alive with activity. "James, I'm seeing the same signatures you are," Richardson says without preamble. "The Vortex-IX. Intelligence said it was theoretical. Looks like the Eastern Federation decided the theoretical stage and go straight to operational. With respect, sir, we've been preparing for this exact scenario," Mitchell replies, moving to the central command console. "The Patriot system has been upgraded across the entire theater. We've implemented the new targeting algorithms, integrated the quantum processing units, and we have full coverage of the approach vector. If anyone can intercept this missile, it's us." Richardson nods slowly. "I'm counting on that, James. Because if you don't, we're not just looking at a loss of face. That missile reaches the testing range, and it proves to every nation watching that their air defense is obsolete. The proliferation alone would destabilize 3 continents. The political fallout would be catastrophic." Mitchell understands the weight of those words. This isn't just about military capability. This is about credibility, about deterrence, about the entire architecture of global security. For 70 years, Western air defense systems have been the gold standard, the technology that everyone else aspires to, the barrier that keeps the peace through strength. If the Vortex-IX is real, if it's unstoppable, if it breaches their defenses, then everything changes. "We won't let it through, sir," Mitchell says. "You have my word." The communication ends, and Mitchell turns to face his team. Every eye is on him. Every person in this room knows what's at stake. The faces are a mixture of determination and barely concealed fear. They're not afraid of failure. Soldiers learn to master that fear. They're afraid of what failure means for the world they live in. "All right, people, listen up," Mitchell announces, his voice steady and commanding. "We have a window of 11 minutes before that missile enters our engagement zone. I want every second of those 11 minutes to work for us. Chen, I need you coordinating the targeting algorithms with 6 Patriot batteries positioned along the approach vector. Major Torres," he gestures to the woman seated at the fire control station, "I want you running simulations on every intercept scenario. Let's see what our models about engagement tactics." Torres, a career officer with over 15 years of experience with advanced missile systems, springs into action. Her fingers fly across multiple keyboards, pulling up scenario simulation display. "Commander, I'm already running the predictive models. But sir, we need to be realistic. The Vortex-IX flies at a lower altitude than anything we've modeled before, plus it has a reported maneuvering capability that exceeds even our theoretical intercept parameters." "Exceeded our theoretical parameters until we prove otherwise," Mitchell responds. "I don't care if that missile can turn on a dime and dance the tango. Nothing is invincible. Nothing is unstoppable. Every weapon, every system, every piece of technology in the world has a weakness. Our job is to find it before we have 9 minutes left. The energy in the room shifts. Fear transforms into focused determination. These are professionals for exactly this kind of pressure. This is what they've practiced in countless drills and simulations. This is real. Across the room, another screen flickers to life. General Viktor Sokolov appears, his face broadcast from the command center of the Eastern Federation's operations. His expression stone cold, but there's something in his eyes, a glimmer of confidence that borders on arrogance. He's been watching the Patriot system for decades, studying its capabilities, analyzing its strengths and weaknesses. The Vortex-IX represents years of research and development, millions of rubles invested in creating a weapon that doesn't just evade defenses. It redefines what evasion means. Your patriotic defenders will fall today, Commander Mitchell, Sokolov says, his voice carrying through the communication channel with a slight accent. The age of Western dominance in air defense is over. The Vortex-IX is the future. Your system belongs to history now. Mitchell stares at the screen for a moment, then leans forward and responds. General Sokolov, with all due respect, I've heard that prediction before. I've heard it from every adversary who thought they had an answer to our defenses. Every single time, we've proven them wrong. Today won't be any different. I look forward to explaining that to you when your missile is in pieces on the tarmac. He terminates the connection before Sokolov can respond. It's a calculated move, a moment of psychological warfare designed to project confidence. But inside, Mitchell feels the weight of the moment crushing down on him like a physical force. 7 minutes, Chen announces. The missile is now entering the outer detection perimeter. We're getting solid radar lock from all 3 forward stations. Signal is strong and clear. On the main tactical display, a red dot begins to move across the map. It's a slow crawl at first, but it begins to accelerate, leaving a trail of red as it approaches the blue zones marked as the Patriot battery's engagement areas. Mitchell watches the dot with the intensity of someone watching their entire career, their entire world, pass before their eyes. Talk to me about the weapon itself, Mitchell says to Dr. Robert Ashford, the lead weapons analyst who's monitoring the missile's technical characteristics. Ashford is a thin man with wire-rimmed glasses and a mind that operates in layers of complexity that most people can't even imagine. Based on our sensor data, we're looking at several significant innovations, Ashford explains, pulling up detailed technical readouts. The Vortex-IX appears to utilize a sophisticated plasma-based exterior. This creates an effect similar to stealth technology, but more advanced. It absorbs and refracts radar signals in a way that makes lock-on difficult. Additionally, the missile seems to employ a variable geometry control surface that allows for extreme maneuverability. We've detected at least 4 significant course corrections already, and it's still in the outer detection zone. Can we adapt our targeting parameters to account for the plasma sheath? Mitchell asks. We're working on it, Ashford responds. But the adaptation is non-linear. The plasma configuration seems to change based on the missile's altitude and speed. It's like trying to hit a target that constantly changes its shape. Mitchell nods, processing this information with the tactical part of his brain that's been honed by decades of military service. The challenge is immense, but it's not insurmountable. Every weapon has vulnerabilities. Every system has limitations. The question is whether they can identify and exploit those limitations before the missile reaches its target. 5 minutes, Chen announces. The missile is beginning its descent toward the lower altitude corridor. It's definitely targeting the testing range with precision navigation. On the tactical display, the missile's trajectory becomes clearer. The red dot traces a perfect path toward the blue square marked as the testing range. It's almost beautiful in its precision, a masterpiece of engineering flying through the sky toward its designated target. If Mitchell doesn't intervene, that missile will reach its objective and demonstrate capabilities that will shake the foundations of global security. Activate Patriot Battery 1, Mitchell commands. Engage on my mark. Major Torres's fingers move across her console. The first Patriot battery, positioned on the high ridge overlooking the valley, comes alive. The system powers up with a mechanical whine that can be heard even in the operations center through the building's external audio feeds. The radar array rotates, scanning the sky with invisible beams of electromagnetic energy. The launch platform rises, preparing to fire. We have locked, Torres announces. Missile is in engagement envelope. Hold, Mitchell says. Let's see if it attempts evasion. Chen, what's the current altitude and speed? Altitude now at 4,000 meters and descending rapidly, Chen responds. Speed holding steady at Mach 4.1. Mitchell watches the red dot on the display. It's like a game played at supersonic speeds. Every move, every decision, every second matters. Fire too early, and the missile might employ countermeasures that the Patriot system isn't equipped to handle. Fire too late, and the missile might be too close for the system to respond in time. It's a delicate balance between aggression and restraint, between confidence and caution. 3 minutes, Chen says. Her voice is steady, but Mitchell can hear the tension beneath it. The missile continues its descent, its path remaining true. It's not attempting any evasive maneuvers yet. It's confident. It believes in its own invincibility. That confidence is something Mitchell can work with. Fire, Mitchell commands. commands. All batteries, full engagement sequence. Torres presses the firing button. The command flows through the system at the speed of light. The Patriot battery erupts. A missile launches from the platform, leaving a trail of white smoke as it shoots into the sky at 3 times the speed of sound. The missile screams upward, its guidance system locked onto the Vortex-IX, its warhead primed and ready to detonate. But the Vortex-IX is ready too. As the Patriot missile enters the engagement zone, the Eastern Federation's creation immediately executes an evasive maneuver. The missile banks hard to the left, its plasma sheath creating a shimmering distortion in the air. The Patriot missile follows, its guidance system attempting to track the moving target. The two missiles approach each other at a combined speed of over Mach 8, faster than any human reaction, faster than thought itself. Interception probability dropping, Ashford announces. The Vortex-IX has executed a program sequence evasion pattern. It's following a trajectory that's designed to defeat our missile's guidance systems. Mitchell watches the red dot and the blue dot on his display. They're converging. They're becoming one. Any moment now. The screen flashes white. The audio feeds crackle with static and noise. For a moment, there's silence. Total, silence. Everyone in the operations center holds their breath. Status report, Mitchell commands, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade. We're getting interference, Chen says, her fingers flying across her keyboard. Electromagnetic pulse from the detonation. Sensors are clearing now. Analysis in 3, 1. Sir, I'm not seeing a primary debris field. Patriot missile detonated. But what? Leans forward. But the Vortex-IX is still in the air, Chen finishes. It maintained course through the detonation. The missile continued toward the target. The room goes silent. The first engagement has failed. The Invincible missile has proven itself to be exactly that, invincible. Mitchell can feel the eyes of his team on him, can sense the shift in morale as confidence begins to crack. But Mitchell has been in military service for 37 years. He's learned that battles aren't won in single engagements. They're won through strategy, through adaptation, through the willingness to learn from failure and come back stronger. Engage with Battery 2, Mitchell says. Different approach vector. I want that missile targeted from above this time. Use the high-altitude intercept pattern. Torres nods, understanding what Mitchell is attempting. If the missile can evade frontal attacks, perhaps it can't evade attacks from multiple angles simultaneously. Perhaps if they come at it from different directions with different tactical approaches, one of them will find the weakness in its defenses. 2 minutes to target, Chen announces. The second Patriot missile launches. This time, it takes a different path, climbing higher into the sky before beginning its descent toward the Vortex-IX. The two missiles are on a collision course that will force the target to choose which threat to avoid. You can't evade everything. Something has to give. The Vortex-IX detects the new threat and executes another evasive maneuver. But this time, something is different. This time, the plasma sheath flickers just for a moment, but Mitchell catches it on the display. For a fraction of a second, the missile's outer defenses are compromised. Did you see that? Mitchell demands. Ashford, what just happened? I saw it. Ashford responds, his voice rising with excitement. The plasma sheath destabilized. When the missile executed its maneuver while under simultaneous threat from two vectors, the electromagnetic couldn't maintain coherence. It flickered. Sir, I think I found the weakness. The second Patriot missile approaches its target, but the Vortex-IX recovers its defensive posture and evades once again. The missile detonates, but again the Eastern Federation's creation continues on its trajectory. 1 minute, Chen announces. Mitchell stands up from his chair and walks to the center of the operations center. Every eye is on him. He's a commander faced with a weapon that seems designed specifically to defeat everything his system can throw at it. He has 60 seconds to stop an unstoppable missile. He has 60 seconds to prove that Western air defense still matters. He has 60 seconds to change history. Activate all remaining Patriot batteries simultaneously, Mitchell announces. I want overlapping fire patterns, convergent trajectories, and I want the targeting algorithms to calculate the optimal timing to minimize the probability of simultaneous engagement. That missile is going to be hit from 6 different directions at the exact same moment. When its defensive systems are stressed to the maximum, when it can't evade, because evasion in one direction exposes it to threats from another direction. That's when we strike. Torres's face goes white. Sir, that's an experimental tactical configuration. We've never tested it in real conditions. Then it's time we did, Mitchell responds, because that's our only option. We have 45 seconds. Torres nods and begins inputting the commands. The entire Patriot system network activates. 5 more batteries come to life, a landscape, their radars searching the sky, their launch platforms rising. The missiles are prepared, their warheads armed, their guidance systems locked onto a single target. Mitchell watches the countdown on his display. 30 seconds. The Vortex-IX continues its approach, unaware of the tracking set, or perhaps aware and confident that it can't be caught. Seconds. The missiles prepare for launch. 6 Patriot missiles, all programmed to strike simultaneously from different angles, all designed to arrive at their target at the exact same microsecond. It's a calculated gamble, a desperate move, a last stand against an impossible possible enemy. 10 seconds. Mitchell's finger hovers over the final authorization button. He thinks about everything that leads to this moment. He thinks about the decades of development that went into the Patriot system. He thinks about the lives of the soldiers and technicians who dedicated themselves to making this technology work. He thinks about what it means for the world if this doesn't work. 5 seconds. Fire all batteries, Mitchell commands. The button is pressed. The command flows through the network at the speed of light. All 6 Patriot batteries erupt simultaneously. 6 missiles launch, their rocket motors igniting, their trajectories calculated to intersect at a single point in space where the Vortex-IX will be in exactly 12.4 seconds. The Vortex-IX detects the unprecedented level of threat and executes its most aggressive maneuver yet. It banks hard, its plasma sheath flaring as it attempts to dodge the incoming assault. But there's nowhere to go. The 6 missiles form a net that covers every possible escape route. The Eastern Federation's creation is surrounded, trapped in a web of fire and technology. The missiles approach their target. 10 seconds to intercept. 8 seconds. 5 seconds. 3 seconds. For a moment that stretches into eternity, everything hangs in balance. The entire future of military technology, the entire balance of power, the entire architecture of global defense hinges on what's about to happen. 2 seconds. Second. The sky erupts. The detonation is unlike anything in the Tactical Operations Center has ever recorded. 6 Patriot warheads detonate in a carefully orchestrated sequence, each one designed to maximize the destructive force applied to the target. The explosion is so massive that the sensors register electromagnetic interference across the entire spectrum. For a moment, there's static, there's noise, there's chaos, then silence. Analysis, Mitchell says quietly. Chen stares at her display, her fingers moving across the keyboard. Tremblings. I'm processing the sensor data now, clearing the interference, calculating debris patterns. Sir, I'm getting multiple confirmed intercept signatures. The explosive yield confirms multiple warhead detonations in the immediate vicinity of the target. The room waits. The world waits. Sir, Chen says, her voice rising with triumph, I'm seeing debris. Confirmed missile fragments. Multiple pieces of the Vortex-IX scattered across the target zone. The missile has been destroyed. The missile has been destroyed. We got it. We intercepted it. For a moment, the operations center is silent. Then it erupts. Cheers, shouts joy and relief, people embracing each other, tears of triumph streaming down faces. The impossible has been achieved. The Invincible missile has been stopped. But Mitchell doesn't celebrate. Instead, he opens a communications channel to Admiral Richardson. Sir, we've successfully intercepted the Vortex-IX. Multiple warheads achieved simultaneous intercept at coordinates Alpha 79 Whiskey. The missile has been destroyed. Richardson's face appears on the screen, and Mitchell can see the relief washing over the Admiral like a wave. Excellent works. Excellent work. That was the most aggressive simultaneous engage pattern I've ever seen. You took a tremendous risk. Yes, sir, Mitchell responds. But that missile represented a fundamental threat to our defensive architecture. Risk was necessary. You've just changed the narrative, Richardson says. The Eastern Federation will be analyzing that intercept for months. They'll be back at their drawing boards. They'll be developing new systems and new tactics. But they'll never forget that their invincible weapon was stopped by a coordinated Western defense that was willing to innovate and adapt. That matters, James. That matters enormously. As Mitchell ends the communication, Sokolov's face appears on the tactical display. The general's expression has transformed. The arrogance is gone. In its place is something else, respect, perhaps, or the bitter acknowledgement that his masterpiece didn't perform as promised. An impressive intercept, Commander Mitchell, Sokolov says, his voice measured and careful. You've won this day. General, Mitchell responds, the Vortex-IX was an extraordinary event. It represents years of research and development. But you were wrong about one thing. You assumed that it was invincible. You assumed the age of Western air defense was over. But the truth is, air defense isn't about having a single unstoppable system. It's about having the intelligence to understand threats, the courage to face them, and the adaptability to overcome them. The Patriot system is old technology, but it's old technology crewed by young minds and guided by experienced judgment. That combination is difficult to beat. Sokolov nods slowly, then terminates the communication. In the hours that follow, the full scope of the victory becomes apparent. News agencies around the world begin reporting the intercept. The Eastern Federation's claims of possessing an unstoppable weapon are proven false. The credibility of Western air defense systems is reinforced. The balance of power remains stable. The narrative of technological dominance shifts back to where it had been. But for Mitchell and his team, the celebration is muted. They understand that this is only the first round of competition that will last for decades. The Eastern Federation will return with new designs, new tactics, new approaches. The West will continue to refine, improve, and develop. The cycle of challenge and response will continue, each side pushing the other toward greater innovation. As Mitchell leaves the operations center hours later, exhausted but satisfied, he walks past the faces of his team. Torres is already planning the next iteration of the engagement tactics. Chen is coordinating with the satellite satellite operators to recover more debris for analysis. Ashford is documenting the plasma sheath vulnerability for the research divisions. Everyone understands that this victory is not the end of the story. It's merely a chapter in a much longer narrative. Mitchell steps outside into the cool evening air. The sun is setting over the Carpathian Mountains, casting the same long shadows as it did at the beginning of the day. Everything is different now. The world has shifted. The impossible has become possible. The invincible has been proven vulnerable. A soldier approaches Mitchell as he stands looking at the horizon. "Commander, we received a message from Command. They want to know your assessment of the engagement. Do you think we'll see another Vortex-IX coming our way?" Mitchell considers the question carefully. Yes, he's finally. "I think we will, but next time we'll be ready. We'll have learned from today. We'll have adapted. We'll have evolved. And that's what separates us from systems like the Vortex-IX. That missile was designed to be the answer. We're designed to ask new questions and find new answers. In the long game, the adaptable always triumph over the static." The soldier nods and walks away, leaving Mitchell alone with his thoughts as darkness descends across the mountains. In the operation behind him, the work continues. The analysis continues. The planning continues. Because this day, this victory, this moment of triumph is not the end. It's simply the beginning of the next phase in a competition that defines the modern world. The last defense has held, but the defenders know that the assault will come again, and they'll be ready.